as you stay focused both in your reading, in your court, when a submission is taking place, then you will tend to know how to argue back in your case. So I would say the younger generations, if you are listening here, the most important thing for you to do is focus. Law is not difficult. I know it will seem, the fat lady seems burdensome, but it is actually quite easy as opposed to the practicing life.
In a press conference setting, and then you saw this guy on his first day of job. You know, he has this fire. You know, your sixth day. You wanna go to, you wanna go tomorrow. You wanna go to the zoo with your family. You know, you wanna chill. You know, you don't wanna do a lot of work. So don't ask questions. And then this guy came.
Lengthen the press conference.
And then some ministers they just talk and for 40 minutes straight. I mean, and then this guy came with a question out of nowhere. Hey, can you please explain the situation?
Everyone
and then
like rolling their eyes.
I'm like, oh my god.
Ni mesti budak baru.
And then we mark him lah.
Lain kali kau kena. This podcast is brought to you by SPMflix
and powered by BAC Education.
Who do we have here? Who are our special guests?
Yes, so let me introduce to our two amazing guests over here. So we got Mr. Taneswaran. We also have Mr. Shahrin Aizat, also known as Bo.
Yes, please give them a warm welcome.
So
let them introduce themselves also. Like, what do you do? Tell us like a little background on what do you do, where are you placed, if you have your own company, and what field of expertise are you in? Maybe Mr. Tanesh, go first.
Right, thank you for having me. Well, I'm a lawyer. We call it an advocate solicitor of High Court of Malaya. I've been practicing for the past 11 years.
Okay.
I have my own firm. We call it TKP Law. We do both civil and criminal. So it's been quite a journey.
Cool.
Having it all this years.
It's nice having you.
Thank you.
And Bo, please, by all means.
Hi, my name is Shahrin Aizat, no Sharizam. I have been a journalist for like 4 years since the time of COVID-19 pandemic. And but thank you for real for having me. And so for the past 4 years, I've been covering politics and crime, and for example, like general elections.
Our favorite topics in Malaysia, right?
Yeah.
Politics and crime.
Yeah. I'll sing some songs for you later.
oh wow!
We'll look forward to it then, definitely.
Yeah.
So let's get straight into it. We want to talk more about truth and justice. It is slightly on a heavier topic, but like I'm sure you guys will definitely bring some fun into it. Before we dive into the questions, I want to give you guys some fun facts. So, Malaysian legal system is a mix of common law, Islamic law, and customary law. And did you know Lim Beng Hong became the first female lawyer in 1927? Yeah. Let's go. Female lawyer,
Yeah, and also in 2023, the World Press Freedom Index, Malaysia is ranked 103, right?
107.
107,
Joshua.
yes, correct. 107 of the 180 countries.
Yes.
So
we've improved. But there's definitely room to go when it comes to like media freedom.
True.
Betul tak, Bo?
He's very hesitant.
He's like, media freedom.
I was waiting for that question.
Like, we've improved, tapi 107 is still 3 digit, right?
Yeah.
Let's go to like 2
I feel like we can do better.
We can do
I feel
better,
like,
definitely.
you know.
Heard that, whoever's in charge. Okay, let's dive straight into it. First up, Tanis, you've been in law for many years. What inspired you to choose this path and to be a lawyer? And from the beginning up until now, but please do summarize. How has your career been, and why did you choose law? Basically, we want to know.
Actually, you won't believe it. I didn't want to do law.
Oh.
Yeah, I wanted to go into flying.
Ooh.
And then I was
That's
forced.
not cheap.
Yep, that was.
That's not
well, the
cheap.
comment that I received was, it's just a driver in the air. So although then my brother managed to go into it, he fought his way. So as a second alternative, then I had law as an option. So I started reading law. Then you start falling in love. They call it the fat queen. You know, they call the law the fat queen. When you start falling in love with her, then you gain more and you want to learn more.
I didn't
So-
know you call it a fat queen.
That's
First time hearing it.
yeah. So there's this saying. So I started my law career first in UK.
Mm.
I did my degree, then I came back and I did my CLP. As most of them would do it. It was in BAC, the CLP. So
BAC.
yeah. I told that in front of the late Justice Gopal Sriram once.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
While I was moving a call, and then he called me. He said, "Boy, come here,"
Mm.
and we had a chit chat about that. Well, anyway, so after we've done that, I had my chambering, and yeah, I've been privileged enough to have my practice both in civil and criminal,
Mm.
because you get very bored.
Right.
If you just do one area, you get very bored. If it's just criminal, I get very bored. If it's just civil, I get very bored. They both have their own different enigma, I would say. They've got their own different styles. Yeah, trial lengths, and so yeah, a bit of both, and it's been a very interesting year.
Yes.
Yeah. You
We will get back to you on the interesting
Yeah,
year
like,
yeah,
part,
sure,
because
sure.
I would like to
I'm
know.
sure you got a lot of stories to tell us.
I'll get back to you
Yeah.
on that.
So, for Bo, I mean, like, what made you pursue journalism?
To be
Mm.
honest, it's pop culture. I blame that.
Okay.
Actually, the first time I was into journalism when I was, if I'm not mistaken, I was 16 or 17 when I first watched. If you guys know Spotlight,
Okay.
that's the movie. It's about it's a movie about Boston Globe. They covered this. It's a feature team, so they have 1 year of to finish one story.
Oh,
So
that's
this-
long.
Yeah, so the story is about the pedophilia
Oh.
in Catholic Church or just
Mm.
church alone.
So you're uncovering that story.
Yeah.
and they
So
take
and
that
then
one.
and then this team was designated to investigate. So
Mm.
they had to go through. Back then there was no such thing as Google,
Mm.
and they have to go to libraries. They have
Yeah.
they have to go to police stations to find all these files, and then they have to meet and interview the victims. And since then, I feel like, I like that, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna
You like
pursue that.
investigating.
Yeah.
Going to the places.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
learning the things.
But I mean, also I like reading as well, and I
Mm.
like writing as well. Back then, I used to write poetry. Big
Poetry?
criticism.
Wow, can you
Yeah,
give us
yeah.
maybe a
A
poem?
two-liner.
A two-liner.
Come.
I used to write poetry, and I used to my favorite personality in terms of writing a lot. The person that have inspired me in terms of the style of writing, I think, is Anthony Bourdain.
Mm.
Anthony Bourdain, and also a bit of for poetry, I think Kipling, Rudyard Kipling, if you heard of him. It's the way they tell a story. For example, Anthony Bourdain, he's a food commentator. He's a chef as well. So the way he tells the story, the history behind a meal is
Mm.
just fascinating to me.
I think we will have to do some checking out. Like later on, I will
Yeah,
want
yeah,
to
yeah,
go
yeah.
and check out Anthony Bourdain, even the movie Spotlight, because that sounds very interesting.
Yeah.
Is it an old movie or?
It's not old. Well.
That's what he
But-
said.
Expose his age, right?
But I think it was in 2012 or 2011. They won the
that's
Academy
all.
Award
Okay.
Wow.
for that. I think Mark Ruffalo was in.
Oh.
Mark Ruffalo.
The Hulk.
Yeah, and
Punya actor.
also Michael
okay.
Keaton, the Batman.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. So
Batman.
they were the main cast in
They
it.
were the
lah.
main cast.
Alright. I want to check it out. I definitely want to check it out.
Yeah.
That's so fun. Oh, can I just know, like a little quick question? What type of stories, as a journalist, now that you are doing journalism, what type of stories do you like covering?
Right now, I cover mostly on crime and politics. Sometimes, occasionally, I will cover environmental issues and human rights issues. But human rights issues usually correlated to politics. So because when it comes to government policies and stuff like that, it's most of the two things I like to cover. But sometimes I go to sports, just to watch games.
Yeah. And then like, hey, I have a story to cover. It was fun. Let me
Yeah.
cover this
I'm a
story.
bit of a
Yeah,
football
yeah,
man,
yeah.
I see, I
Yeah,
see, I see.
so-
So yeah, that's pretty cool. And we have a journalist and a lawyer in the
Yeah,
house.
yeah.
So I have to ask, can you tell us, or maybe each of you can take turns and say, can you tell me, do you think as a journalist, does your career ever coincides with law?
Yeah, sometimes I went to court. For example, I think 2 days ago I covered the Najib v. Thomas, Tommy Thomas case in
Yeah.
High
Like
Court
how they have a
Shah Alam.
conversation
they were
among
like-
themselves. You know, right? You know
Yeah,
what I'm
you know,
talking about.
we
We
don't
don't know. Lah.
Yeah.
But please, that's why we want to
Yeah.
be included.
It's a defamation suit.
Mm.
It was based on Tommy Thomas' book biography.
Oh.
And the former Prime Minister Najib Razak pointed out there's one chapter, and the
Mm.
chapter is called Al Tantuya.
Oh.
Yeah, and
I
then
think we kind of know where you're going with.
yeah, and then the former Attorney General spilled some tea.
I see.
Yeah, spilled some tea in that particular chapter. So, and
So
then-
I guess for as a journalist also, you do go to court a lot.
yeah, I went up.
Definitely. What about you, Tanish?
Well,
How, as a lawyer, they have clients, and probably when you're investigating and you know to defend or to prosecute and whatnot for your cases, how involved are you when with journalists?
see, for example, let's say an accident case, for example, right?
Mm,
You've got a client that has, sometimes accident case can also be criminal in
Right.
nature. When there's death involved, you can be charged for imprisonment for 2 years.
mm,
So, and there's very little evidence that you'll have. So sometimes what you do, you go and you turn around and look at the social media. You look at pictures there that the journalists have actually, taken pictures and, websites
Because
and
they're
all.
the first one there.
They are the first one there, so
Yeah.
they've covered the
Yeah.
story. And then you go to FB and you see all kind of stories. So it correlates that way, in terms of us investigating of evidence. And secondly, we also have a situation where sometimes we need journalists to cover up certain stories. Of course, have you heard of something called a gag order,
Yes.
where you can't
Where you
speak about?
can't speak about it.
Yes.
Oh,
So that is how much we've abused the journalists actually in court. That we
Right.
need such principles of law to take place there. Yeah. So
Understandable.
very,
Understandable.
we were very correlated.
Yeah, like brothers.
So I mean, so do you think both of your career have like any rivalry between y'all?
No,
No.
I don't think so. lah.
No,
I don't think so.
I don't think we have
We
that
need each
sort
other.
of yeah, we need each other. Yeah.
We need each other.
Okay.
Then maybe to again on that, how similar do you think you guys are in journalism and in law as a lawyer in pursuing the truth? Because at the end of the day, journalism is about uncovering the truth of this certain event in any, like, whether it's politics, it's a crime, or it's even entertainment. Similarly, whether it's an entertainment client or it's a criminal client and whatnot, how similar, I want to know, like, in terms of that, to uncover the truth. Like, do you guys think there's similarity, or do you think there's stark differences when it comes to client and as a journalism? Because client, like, for example, it's you're directly connected to them, whereas journalist sees more of like the situation or what. So
See-
maybe you can highlight on that.
Yeah, sure. There is two things here. First, a solicitor client will have privilege. So there are information that the lawyers will have, no one else will have.
Right.
So when
Ooh,
you say
true.
truth, that will be very concealed information
right.
that others might not perceive it. Whereas journalism, I believe, is more of a general view
Yeah.
of what's happening, what they, what a party said, what this person said. If I claim someone, hey, this guy says that he stole my bike, for example, that will be something that a journalist can write. But the truth of what happened is something totally different, you see. That will be something more privileged information. So I think that will be a big difference, lah. In terms of lawyers.
Because you have that client privilege.
Yeah. And a very interesting point is there is a judge in India who has differentiated. In law, there is no such thing as truth.
That's
You
a,
own-
I,
deep.
I
That's quite
think,
deep.
I think that's can be controversial depending on the case.
No, because you know why? You know why? They say it very well. They say there's no such thing as truth, but there is things that is called as facts.
Okay.
You can perceive facts. You can't perceive truth.
Can I just say, Mo looks mesmerized. Mo looks like,
No. It's quite interesting, So he goes on to say this, right? What's the difference between facts and truth? Why you can't find the truth? Because truth means absolute. You know,
Right.
facts.
Absolute. Yeah.
Facts means something that you perceive from whatever information that you have or evidence that you have. Now he gives this example. Look at facts, for example, right? The sun rised in east, sun set in west. Facts.
Right.
Correct. We all agree that's a fact. But that's not the truth. We are going around the sun.
I think what you're trying to say is probably the interpretation of the law.
Yeah.
Correct.
The how you use
How
the
you use
law.
it.
Correct.
How use the law.
Yeah.
You can never find out what is the truth. You
Yeah.
can only be judgmental as to what is the facts that actually happened.
Understand. I think that's why it's interesting when it comes to like certain cases. Like for me personally, I did not study law. I studied communication, in fact, but I'm not a fan of journalism. Nothing against you, Bo.
Yeah,
I'm more
I
on the
understand.
broadcasting and video and content and whatnot. So, but I'm a huge fan of crimes, and I watch a lot of law series and all. And I always find it interesting of judiciary like kind of court cases, because there's always this word where they say like proven beyond reasonable doubt.
Yeah.
So I find that very interesting, because like sometimes they are controversial because fiction, right? They tend to blow things up, and then sometimes they show things like yeah, he looks guilty, but the facts says this, and by voting the judge decided he's not guilty, even though he looks guilty. Facts said this is the evidence that we found, and we found him not guilty. And I find that very interesting, and I guess it depends on how one can interpret it. Like some people might interpret and thinking like, oh, this looks like manipulation, or this looks like how did they do that? That's all like smart. They're all being like very intelligent doing it. But I do think that there's a reason why the law was there, and there's a reason why there's a Judy line that decided. What do you think about that?
See, the idea is this: you can have 10 guilty guys outside, but you shouldn't have at least a single innocent man in custody. So you have all the safety lines in every sections. You have their safety line. Safety line meaning that everyone will have their rights.
Right.
Right? Everyone have their right to the best defense. Everyone have their right to every legal avenue that is available to them.
Right.
So when you come to court, it is not what you think it is. It is what the evidence speaks. That's the glaring
You
difference.
have to throw your biases and all
Yes,
outside.
you've got to throw your political views, you've got to throw out your biases, you've got to throw your perspective or principles, whatever you've got to throw it out. You have to be very open-minded and look at the evidence objectively.
Understand?
That's how it works. So sometimes that's why you have some cases here in Malaysia. People get very disappointed. Oh, how can this happen? They found this, they found that. How can this happen? But if you go in and you dig and you see the case,
they're driven by that bias or that support to a
Correct.
certain.
I can
thing
point
that
out
is
some cases.
yes, please.
Hey,
please.
Please go ahead.
But before
No,
you
I'm not
point
gonna.
out,
I'm not gonna do that.
So we have that. Yeah.
understand?
Okay.
What about you,
Yeah.
Bo? Like in same question, but your point of view, how similar do you think it is into finding truth? And like since he pointed out his point, like maybe you can say your point of view in like how does law, aligns with journalism.
So
serving truth?
in journalism we have this thing. It's big. It's called investigative journalism.
Okay.
So sometimes we use our resources. We call our sources to confirm some rumors that we receive or tip that we receive.
Yeah.
So for example, I give you this victim of for example a sexual assault case in a big company, and we receive a tip, we receive a call, and then say hi Bo, I'm from this, and I was just sexually assaulted. I have the police report with me, and I'll pass it to you via WhatsApp. So I'm gonna and then I check the police report. I have to call my sources, which is probably let's say the victim lodged police report at the Dang Wangi police station. So I have to call the Dang Wangi police
You
chief,
have to fact check it.
and then I have to confirm whether it was true, the report they received the report. And it's not just that's a simple investigative example, but there were a lot of stories that took intricate process. For example, if you cover a case in Sabah, in Borneo, in Borneo, for example, recently Malaysia Kini won the Kajai Award. Kajai Award is like it's like a Nobel Prize, not Nobel Prize, a Pulitzer Prize. It's like a Pulitzer Prize for Malaysian level. So Malaysia Kini won an award based on a story based on a community in Sabah where they had to travel to hospital for like jauh gila, and some of them even afraid to go to hospital because they're not citizen. So it takes Malaysia Kini team, I think, for like 3 months to get the story. Just one story, just one long form story to uncover these.
And was this the story that earned you that award?
I didn't
I
win
mean,
one.
Malaysia,
I didn't win
Malaysia
the
Kini.
one.
Malaysia Kini, Malaysia
Maybe
Kini.
next year.
Still still there.
But yeah, the how they get the story, how they write and structure the story. Yeah, they won the award. I think that was the first time Malaysia Kini won the Kajai Award. Yeah, so
Congratulations, Malaysia Kini.
yeah, those kind of works that we do lah. Yeah. But for me, I'm more of a day-to-day journalist. You know, I cover everyday issues, current issues. So in my opinion, the most important feature or characteristic or skill that you need to have as a journalist is you have to be updated.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
in terms of current issues. Like,
Yeah, talking about that, so I want to move on to the next one. Similarly, talking about like journalism, right? Since we are talking about you both, like, you know how, like you mentioned, it has to be quick and updated, breaking news, and it's also in terms of like for the netizens, also for people that sees it, then you know what's happening, because sometimes that's the only source of update news. Some people are like, they stay at home, they don't go out, they don't watch TV, but they have like phone or maybe the radio. That's how they get their information, right? So how do you balance fast, but then it has to be accurate?
it takes years of practice actually.
see.
Actually, for the first 6 months, it was
So many, like, any
it was a struggle for me actually, because I came from a very Malay background. I was born in Ipoh. I went to a school in a very kampung area. It's on the way to Cameron Highlands. You know, my upbringing doesn't allow me to speak English. I mean not that far, not as that far, but rather than, you know, I have to speak Malay all the time. You know, I'm not very good. You know, sometimes I just read English books in my own time, and then when it comes to writing, for the first 6 months, I struggled a bit with the grammar, and okay. So for example, I covered a press conference, a prime minister's press conference. So and then he said something like very controversial or very urgent policy that he suddenly announced something. He does that sometimes. and then I briefed it to my editor. Hey, he said this. Oh, you have to flash it. So flash means you have to send 3 paragraphs in 5 minutes, complete with the headline and everything.
Wow. So
In
it's
5
literally
minutes.
like a news mini,
like a mini news, and then okay, headline, my byline is my name, and intro, second intro, quote, and bawah is more to follow. It's
So
called
you flash
5
it out
minutes.
immediately.
5 minutes is all I have.
And then the editor, what does he do? Like, he just takes those information
just-
and then like.
He just calls you. Where's the flash?
5 minutes has passed. Where is it?
Yeah. Yeah, they do that sometimes. I love that. I love that.
Cool. Okay, what about Tanish? So for you, like I guess law, you know, sometimes you will run into these ethical challenges, you know, when you represent your clients. So how do you deal with that?
Very, very interesting question. See, the way that I take this is I never represent my client.
Okay.
We represent the system. Now, what do I mean by that is this. As I said earlier, every law has its own protection, right? You know, the idea of keeping at least the innocent out of custody.
Yeah.
So just say now, if I do not put in my fullest defense, all right, I just discount some things, Now, what will happen is you're sending a message to the investigation team saying that, oh, lain kali macam ni tak apalah. Dalam mahkamah dia takkan tanya. You're giving the safety nets a loose end. I'll give you all an example.
Okay.
Okay, when police comes and arrest, right? They will have a search list.
Okay.
They will if
I
just
did
say
not know
if they
that,
come
but
and arrest in your house, or they want to take something from your house, they want to confiscate anything. There's a thing called search list.
Okay.
Now, search list has to be handwritten.
Take note, guys.
Search list has to be handwritten, right? What have happened now is there seems to be a way of leeway now by certain courts, where I find that I've seen search lists being typed. Now, what is the logic of this? If it's handwritten, that means you're taking the items, you're putting an itinerary at the crime scene.
At the scene.
So you're having everything dotted down, signature, all seen in the crime scene. Whereas if you're typing it, that means it's being brought somewhere.
Then you type it out.
So what if the things are being mixed? Something else being added. So that safety net is now being loose ended. See? So that is how we do our case. We fight to the fullest defense. So whether someone is guilty or not is not an issue. So that's how the conscious and ethical thing takes place. You fight for the system to ensure that potential innocent guy in the future doesn't go in.
I like that. I like that you're talking about the system and all. Again, Bo, I feel like in journalism, right, this is kind of like you doing journalism, you're there present. You saw what happened. You're like, take photo, tulis, editor, here you go, flash in 5 minutes. What do you think about those netizens that are apparently online journalists? Like they taking videos, they taking
TikTok.
upload TikTok, and then it blew up because like somehow it's immediate, like instant, and they are like online journalists lah. When I was a mass comm student, that's one of the terms that we learned, online journalists. So like, what do you think about them doing that may or may not, kind of interludes with your truth, because you are doing the news as the official, news and all, and these people coming in and doing this on. What do you think of them in particular? This character or this certain career that some people have done where they go and then they do that.
Before online journalists, we have this thing called citizen journalists. So they take videos of, for example, like accidents happen in Kasas or whatever. So how do we differentiate ourselves with them? It's when it comes to verification. We have the what do we call? We have the connection. Like for example, like I said, we can just we're one call away from even to the level of the Prime Minister. We're just one call away for him to verify.
He got Prime Minister phone number.
I know.
Now I know.
You can call it now.
Can I talk to him?
You want the next episode?
No, I don't have his number. But yeah, let me check. But I think but yeah, like I said, it's the verification part that people I don't think have enough knowledge, or they think that it's not significant enough to find that verification is very important when it comes to news. And I feel like in terms of legal perspective, we need verification.
Yes.
You know,
Definitely.
we need even layers of verification. You know, sometimes just cannot just trust one person to give this sort of verification. And then when it comes to journalism, you have to be objective. Some sort of like, you cannot be emotional when it comes to your writing. You have to be objective, present the facts, and you have to.
Because writing also, even though you're speaking about the fact A is guilty, but if you twist your words, you can say like, yeah, I guess A is guilty.
Yes.
Yeah. So in a way, when someone's reading it, you'll be like, yeah, he does not believe what he's writing. So I guess A is not.
It's about casting a doubt. It's not right for us to put our emotion, put our thoughts, unless it's commentary piece. Then we have pretty much we have the freedom to do anything when it comes to commentary piece, because it's really important for the people to verify their information so they can make the right decision. For example, before you cast your vote during the general election, you want to know what's best for you.
Yeah.
So So you
Then you
cannot
go
just
and look up and
Yeah,
research.
yeah.
Definitely.
definitely some politicians has do some campaigns on TikTok, but yeah, but
That
I mean
Yeah.
Kamala Harris did that. You know, the current U.S. presidential
True.
election. Donald Trump, not so much. I guess.
he did have a big campaign, no
Yeah.
indirectly. We know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys follow the campaign? U.S. presidential.
Not
No, I
to the
don't.
T
Yeah.
lah, but we do know, especially when it blows up
Oh.
and something happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know. I'm aware of what happened.
So yeah, you know, when it comes to journalism, we like to follow up when it comes to we like to
Definitely.
read.
I think that's definitely
Yeah,
important.
in terms
Yeah.
of global
Yeah,
politics.
so for both, like, how do you decide what to report? Like, because like maybe like this story that you're covering, it might cause panic to the netizens. So how do you go about it?
How do I go about not making people panic?
Yeah.
I mean, if the gist is to make it, will definitely make people panic, then I don't
can't-
have the power to
Yeah.
we cannot
Because you
report
still
this.
have to report that.
Yeah,
right?
we still have to report this. Yeah.
Mm.
So I guess it comes naturally because especially when the editor knows that this is happening, well, so I cannot have an opinion like this is gonna create panic. No, no, you cannot argue with your
Okay, yeah. So for Tanish, how about you? Like, I mean, like the cases that you deal with, right? So like, if it doesn't align to your
What you believe
yeah,
is fair.
fair.
Let's say the legal outcome, like you submitted it, and then the outcome that it comes, then you felt like that wasn't fair. But how do you go about it? How do you maybe like the aftermath of it? What can you do?
Well, of course, in our legal career, we have appeals. we
right.
take those parts. Now, just say the same thing happens, then it just ends there.
Mm.
But there are famous cases that have happened in this country where decision is given, people are not happy, and this is the highest court. In civil cases, the highest court, federal court.
Kenapa? They don't deserve it.
There was some cases that people were not very happy. We have academician writing comments, people from Singapore, professors writing comments, and then in another case, the court overturned it.
Oh.
Right. So if you
In
look,
Malaysia?
in Malaysia, we can overturn the federal court can overturn its own decision.
Oh.
So they can do that. So of course, based on whatever facts that's presiding before them. So that is how we go. And then, of course, if you ask me personally as a lawyer, what do you do when you take a case and you're not happy with it? You're going to just take it and keep it with you because it's not something personal.
Right.
As long as you've checked.
You can't
you've
have
done,
beef with the court, like,
Yeah,
how
yeah,
could you? I don't
yeah.
want to work anymore.
If that's the case, every day there's someone winning, someone's losing.
Right,
You
right.
know?
Exactly.
So it's not, you won't win every case, you won't lose every case. But it just depends on how much you can argue your case, how much you can convince the court as to the rights of the facts.
Yeah.
That's where it ends.
Definitely. So now that I've heard your points and even Bo's, right? I want to hear some real life stories. Again, he's a lawyer. He knows around. Not to breach some clientele privilege, but can you give us like a sneak peek or like a story that a real world story that you have?
Or maybe
So
a client, or I mean not a client, but like a case that really impacted you.
So for Tanish, like maybe do you have a case or legal situation that win or lose or however the outcome was, did it change the way you see the justice system in Malaysia?
Yes, I have.
Spill the beans. Spill the beans.
There is this one case. I was not attending to that case. I was actually for another case in Kajang Court. I was walking around. Then I saw this lady carrying a newborn, and she was walking around this corridor. She was clueless. So I approached her. I asked her, what you're doing here, what's happening. So she said, I'm here to see my husband. He's in custody. Today is his court case. He has not seen this newborn. He's not seen. He's been in custody since 6 months. So he's not seen this newborn. So I want to show him. Blah blah blah. So I asked, "What is your husband's case about?" She said she don't know anything. She only said case pukul. All right. I said fine. So I said, okay, fine. I'll see what I can do. I went in. Every court.
So this is just a random lady.
Yeah, it's just a random lady
So
in the court corridor. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
So in court you have their specific court lockups. So I walked into the court lockup and I called this person and I saw him. So I asked him what happened. So he said, Case Control, I beat my neighbor. So I said, why? Why this happened, you know? He said,
Invested.
well, he did something to my daughter. You know, he showed something to my daughter that shouldn't be shown. So I got angry, I beat him. But then he went and complained and they arrested me.
I see.
You know, so I was furious. I was furious. You know, look, this doesn't seem right for him to be sitting there. He was given bail, but he can't afford. They can't afford anything. You know, they can't afford a single dime. So I took the case that day. I took the case. I went in front of the judge. We went to the judge chambers. We spoke to the judge. DPP was there. So I presented the case. I said, these are all the information that I've received. DPP means the public prosecutor, the deputy public prosecutor. She confirmed. She said, yeah, this is the fact. And for the first time in my life, I saw a judge. She was so fumed. All right, she was so angry with the DPP. She said, "What are y'all doing?" And I told the judge, "Look, if this was me, I probably would have done the same thing. You know, our conscience aside, but you know, in a provocative manner, you would have done something like this." And he's sitting in for more than 6 months inside. You know, and the judge told, "Look, whatever happens, he's beaten someone. So there is, of course, an offense. Why don't you plead guilty for that?" We were having a discussion. Why don't you plead guilty for that? And then I will bring down the section and he can walk off home today.
Wow.
So I said, fine. You know, that's fine. I shouldn't be an issue because that's a better deal than, you know, spending more time for his trial. But the DPP said she's going to appeal. But I will never forget what the judge said. She said, you can appeal, but today he's going home. Wow. It was amazing. It was amazing. I was really, really, really impressed with the judge. You know, to see a judge just taking the hand for the term of justice, that actually puts faith in.
Yeah.
You know, that puts
you
a
don't
lot of
feel
faith.
because the judge makes the decision at the end. And
Correct.
to have someone that you feel, I mean, you know, on a personal level, you felt something was unfair, and the judge, you felt seen.
Correct.
Like she saw the same law that you see.
Correct.
And therefore, you have faith once again in the justice.
Correct.
You know who's that DPP?
Later, after the
Literally
show.
tak tahu.
After this, the story gonna come out. Malaysia
Literally
TV.
tak tahu. Kacang kot lah. Kacang kot.
With my account number first.
I might have known it. You know?
So maybe Bo, can you explain to us like some stories that maybe like affected you? You know, a story that you covered. Yeah.
I think the most recent case, which is involved an OKU driver. Yeah, and he was assaulted by a royal, not bodyguard, by a royal escort.
Oh
So,
yeah, I think I saw that.
Yeah, so I covered the case since day
I see.
one. So
Tanis, are you aware of this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's hear from.
so that
Let's hear.
so if you read Malaysian, those are
That's big.
Yes, yours.
yeah. And it's a royal escort, and you know, when it involves a royal, you know, it's a bit of a sensitive issue. Right now, they're currently appealing to the. No, they're not appealing because the AGC yet to charge the perpetrator, the alleged perpetrator. So that case definitely has took some toll on me because I spent so many hours. For example, I started my shift at 8:30 a.m. And by the time I finished everything, when I interviewed the guy, I talked to the guy. Plus, the guy is mute, so I have to text the guy, and then he has to text me back. You know, it's a bit of an intricate process. And then I listened to his story, and then and then I invested so much time with this particular case, and I feel like when the AGC is yet to charge the perpetrator. For me, it takes some toll on me. It's the case was in May.
Oh, that's long.
Now is in October.
That's
Yeah,
long.
I think if I'm not mistaken, the case was in May. Yeah. So since I covered the case since day one, so I feel like it's so disappointing. And the other case is The other story I had was when I traveled to Sarawak for the state election, and I went to an Iban settlement. So mind you, Indian population in Borneo is about 0.01%.
Now that you mention it, I don't think I've met any Indians that are like
From
Sarawakian.
yeah.
Personally, lah, I've never met. Yeah, I've met Chinese and those
Yeah.
that are like Kadazan or Iban. No Indian, no.
That's true. You rarely see Indian in Sabah and Sarawak.
Mm.
And this family, I was following a PKR candidate, and then I found this family in an Iban settlement in Satok, about 40 kilometers away from Kuching. And I found this Iban settlement, very dilapidated house, and I saw him outside, smoking a cigarette, wearing his Stockholm Syndrome T-shirt. And then I was like, wow, this guy's cool, and he's Indian. And then when I addressed him, I said, hi uncle, nice to meet you. Buat apa, sihat ke hari ni? Oh, sihat. Oh, awak wartawan ya? So he also has like Sarawakian accents.
Oh.
So it was very impressive to me. And then he works as a local council officer. So the thing in Sarawak is they hire this so-called unemployed persons or like a homeless person as their local council officers. So those who saman your kereta. So
yeah, these local.
yeah. These are the guys.
Okay.
So
they provide jobs lah to them,
yeah,
in a sense.
for me to find an Indian family in an Iban settlement, the chances are very low.
Yeah.
So I'm like, in my head, it's like, jackpot. This is my story. Like, this is my story. So
Something to cover.
so and then when he tells his stories, he hasn't got any electrical supply for years. I think it was decades. And then he had to buy the generators, those kind of stuff that out here we have this spotlight and then at my house I even have like I want a
Wi-Fi.
hot bath today.
Right.
So we kind of
You see the privilege
yes,
that you have.
you
lah,
see the
look back on
privilege you
it.
have and interacting with these kind of people,
Yeah.
it's just mesmerizing.
I
for
will
me.
go and check out the story that you mentioned.
Yeah, but that was that story was when I was in Malaysia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, no
Yeah.
problem. Still by you. I'll go check it out.
Yeah.
But we've heard some amazing story like Tanesh, your story, as well as Bo. So this is For Real Vodcast. We're here to inspire our students, our
Younger generation.
generation basically. So can each of you give them one advice for the younger generation, and maybe even like what skills do you need if you would like to be a lawyer or if you would like to be a journalist? Maybe Tanesh, you can go first.
Sure.
Let Bo take a breather.
A very senior lawyer once told me the biggest asset for a lawyer is to focus. As you stay focused both in your reading, in your court, when a submission is taking place, then you will tend to know how to argue back in your case. So I will say the younger generations, if you are listening here, the most important thing for you to do is focus. Law is not difficult. I know it will seem, the fat lady seems burdensome, but it is actually quite easy as opposed to the practicing life. You will fall in love. Once you fall in love with her, you will start doing things. You will start to, and you'll be surprised, yeah. The senior lawyers are actually very scared with the younger lawyers.
Ooh.
You'll be surprised. This is truth. This is the truth. Why? Because the younger lawyers always have the fire. They want to come to court and they want to prove themselves. So they are the one usually comes up with the interesting arguments.
This versus
Yes.
that will win the case.
So the old stocks, they're already comfortable with the argument. If you say A, I say B. If you say B, I'll say C. Then we see who wins,
Right.
But when you have these junior guys that comes up and say they want to prove something fresh from college, they are there, they study the whole night, and they come and they will throw a spin and say, excuse me, this.
Oh.
And
I would
then
like
we
to
will be,
submit
oh
this.
my God, you guys are throwing a new speed. So
Yeah.
now we've got to think of
Yeah,
how to
yeah.
counter back, you know.
Right.
So that fire, that focus and that fire, we see a
Mm.
lot in the newer generation. Even the way they write letters.
Mm.
So yes,
Slay.
to get
Okay,
inspired,
maybe not.
to get inspired, focus,
Mm.
do your reading, things will take place.
I think I get what you say about this younger generation of lawyers.
Mm.
In my case, you know, you work for 5 days, sometimes 6 days.
Mhm.
So on your last day, in a press conference setting, and then you saw this guy on his first day of job.
Mm.
You know, he has this fire. You know,
Yeah.
your sixth
Yeah.
day. You wanna go to, you wanna go tomorrow. You wanna go to the zoo with your family. You know, you wanna chill. You know, you don't wanna do a lot of work.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, don't ask questions. And then
Don't make
this
it
guy
longer
came.
than
Yeah,
to
yeah.
lengthen the press conference kind
And
of.
then some ministers they
They
just
can
talk and for 40 minutes straight. I mean, and then this guy came with a question out of nowhere. Hey, can you please explain the situation? Oh, and
Everyone
then
like rolling their
yes,
eyes.
I'm like, oh my god.
Ni mesti
man.
budak baru je.
Yeah. And then we mark him lah.
Lain kali kau kena.
No, jangan bagi tempat duduk.
Yeah, ada lah.
What about you, Bo? Like genuine advice to like
Yeah.
future generation or a skill.
Oh,
And a skill that you think a journalist
Mhm.
should have in their repertoire to be a great journalist.
in my opinion, first of all, you need to learn how to write, of course, and then you have to be prepared, and you have to keep update with your current issues, readings, not just locally in terms of global politics, because it sometimes influence how the country's trajectory, or like how the country wants to move forward. And for me, I feel like the most important thing is you must be prepared. Always prepare yourself with all these facts and all these backgrounds of any stories that you want to write. And please, if you're interested in writing stories, you have to get the full perspective from any what kind of topic or that you want to write on. So it's I feel like journalism is an interesting career option, especially for those who likes to speak on behalf of the ones that are being treated unfairly.
Definitely.
You know, definitely I feel like if you're passionate on that, then I was I mean, please join journalism.
Okay, journalism. Just like how Bo watched Spotlight when he was 16 and he felt like, I'm going to be a journalist. I hope you guys watching who are 16 watch Bo and be like, I want to be a journalist just like Bo. So we hope
Don't be
they
like me,
are they're inspired by this episode if they watch this. Yes.
Yeah. So I want to do a Q&A with you also, like a
Like a
fun question,
yeah.
right?
Oh, okay.
So like for Taneswaran, like when you walk into the court, right? What's this one song would like
Like an anthem.
like an anthem that will
Play.
Wow.
Do you have like a song that's always been like, you know what, when I walk into court, I want this song to be playing. Just to, I don't know, motivate you or maybe to calm you down. Whatever.
Blow, I know the intro.
Blow it. Never thought of that way. You're always there rushing. Something to be on time, I guess.
Something to make you move faster.
Move faster, yeah. I think Knight Rider tune. Knight Rider. Have you seen the Knight Rider 80s?
editor will play the
Oh,
song.
the Knight
Please
Rider.
include the Knight Rider tune.
That will be classic, bro. That will be classic.
That's nice.
That will be a nice tune.
While we try to see
Listen that later, guys.
Yeah.
Knight
See, you can
Rider,
put it up.
is it
Yeah.
the like OST? Is it
No,
like
it's a
the
car. It's an
Yeah,
80s. It's a
Oh.
What do you mean you don't know Knight Rider?
No.
I'm
My
young.
dude.
Okay, I will go and listen to it. Then I can
I watched
imagine.
The Wire, so
Okay.
that's my favorite show.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
What about you, Bo?
Yeah.
Imagine.
Me, Man, I may look bubbly, but actually deep inside, I'm a Radiohead type of guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty a sad person,
So you want to burn feeling when you go.
Yeah, I usually ride my bike.
Uh-huh.
This is not. I'm not setting an example here. So, but usually I ride my bike and I listen to music, but it's not as loud and sort of a background. You feel like you're the main character trying to unravel some stuff.
Right.
But yeah, all kinds of songs lah, but mostly sad ones.
Any favorites
Yeah,
now?
yeah.
Like a Radiohead favorite?
Right now, oh my god, that's so embarrassing. How to disappear completely by Radiohead.
How to disappear completely?
Yeah, it's sad. Don't listen.
Don't listen to it.
Don't listen to it.
I will go and listen to it. And we'll see how Bo likes to be sad. When he does, I would like to know.
Yeah.
Yes, and therefore this wraps up our episode of Truth and Justice with journalist and a lawyer. Thank you, Bo. Thank you, Tanis, for being
Thank you
here.
so much.
Thank you for having
So-
us.
Pleasure.
Yeah, thanks for sharing your stories, your
Yeah, that was
insights, and
amazing.
everything. Yeah.
I like that story.
Yeah.
I feel like, and I want to learn more. Maybe I'll go visit like the websites and
Yeah,
all,
yeah,
like
yeah.
just to learn more about the
Correct.
stories that you guys mentioned.
Actually, you can visit to Major Kini if you.
Okay.
Yeah, we can schedule a
Hey,
session.
let's support. We gotta support, bro.
Might as
These
well we go
articles.
now, right?
Yeah. So with that, I hope everyone that is watching over there, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and please follow us at SPMflix. Share your thoughts, follow us, share it with your friends. Yeah. So with that, Sam, would you like
Yes.
to do the
So
outro?
we do a very outro. We have an outro that we do with our guests every time. So for real stands for there's two hosts and two guests, and there's four of us, and we are discussing real life topics and sharing real stories. So I will say like, and when we do the outro, I'll be like, so guys, everything that we shared here has been. Then we all chime in for real, and then we
Yeah.
drag the reel as long as we can.
Yeah.
Okay?
all
And then we
right.
wave to the main camera.
Yes.
It's like
Can we-
the main
Nadwar.
cam.
Have you guys watched Nadwar?
Nadwar, no.
Nadwar.
No.
It's a pop culture journalist.
Okay.
He wears this weird hat, and then after he finishes his outro, and it's like he's like stay like ice, and then these celebrities will abuse him. While they're like, yeah.
Okay, I'll check that out. Okay, so are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Like a child, let's
Okay,
do that.
cool.
So, guys, in this episode, everything that we share, all the stories that we share from the lawyer and the journalist has all been for real.